Good morning, Gerald 508. So today is Monday morning, June 9th. Great weekend, as I indicated. My son turned 13 on Friday on June 6th, and my mom came down for her 93rd birthday on June 7th. That was Saturday. We went to this great place I recommend in South Laguna. It's really reasonably priced. It's called La Serena Grill, right behind the Montage. They have the best salmon torta you will ever eat. Blackened salmon, chipotle sauce, tons of avocado layered with jalapeno peppers. The best. Okay. Alrighty. Thank you, Jennifer and Victor. Great job in terms of the cardiovascular disease. We had lots and lots of input from everybody. What we have to remember, and this is just a reoccurring theme throughout this course, is that all of us are educated people, and through our education we have access to the information, and then we use that information, and so we're much more likely to understand the impact of diet and exercise and apply it directly to our lives. What we have to worry about is the people out there that are in the lower socioeconomic status. These people are unaware of the importance. And as we indicated in the previous lecture looking at diet, there are these kind of food deserts out there where they just don't have access to the good nutrition, and so by default they go to the local 7-Eleven and they live off food that is available there. And that just lends itself to really malnutrition that leads to disease. So great job. I also posted a little story, a little information bit, Jennifer, that pertain to your question about maternal stress and congenital heart disease. And so there's a little bit out there, not too much, and it really needs to be studied more. Okay, so then Abeer and Marnie stepped in and produced the kind of a broad stroke on 3 very complex topics. Each one could be a course unto itself. One is cancer, the second is pulmonary disorders, lung diseases, and the third is diabetes. And I really like the way they began with the epidemiology for cancer, and they do the epidemiology for all 3 disorders. And you see that, again, cancer is the second leading cause of death. But every cancer is different, and you have to remember that in terms of treatment and approach. Like my wife's chronic lymphocytic leukemia, CLL, her hematologist oncologist says, and this is true of almost every disease, if you've seen one person with CLL, then you've seen one person with CLL, and you have to really tailor the treatment to each person. They go through the key gender differences, prostate and breast cancer. We need both genders need to stay on top of these. I really like the way Abeer and Marnie targeted lifestyle in terms of breast cancer. Certainly there's a genetic risk, but there are things that we can't control, and this is true of all cancers. We can control our diet, we can control our exercise, and attempt to control our stress levels. For cancer, there's this amazing phenomenon called the Warburg effect, really identified in the 1920s, and it relates itself now to all the studies looking at dietary restriction. Cancer cells suck up the glucose. They don't use it to produce ATP for energy. They instead use it to manufacture all new cells. Okay, and this is why they're so greedy about the glucose, and this is why you detect cancer by doing PET scans with radioactive glucose. So they then move on to skin cancer. Okay, and again, skin cancer, breast cancer, they tie into what we've discussed, that we do have control. Some of these cancers are avoidable through certain lifestyle things, or else we can minimize the progression and likelihood of getting it. Okay, avoid UV radiation, sunscreen. For the other cancers, for all cancers, diet is so important. Exercise. Then they get into lung cancer, and then this is in parallel looking at emphysema. Okay, cigarette smoking. Troubling statistics looking at the dramatic decline in male cancer, in terms of lung cancer, but the increase in female and the leveling off. And I think it's driven in part by societal pressure for young women to stay thin. And early on they learned that nicotine is a stimulant. It creates weight loss, at least out of the blocks. Your system then adapts to it. And then boom, they're hooked, and next thing you know, they're at high risk for lung cancer. And then diabetes. Type 1 is an autoimmune disease. This is not genetic. It's not clear why it happens, but it attacks the insulin-producing cells in your pancreas, and you'll be on insulin the rest of your life. Type 2 diabetes has a high genetic component. So if you have a family history, you have to be really, really careful about what you do. It's linked to lifestyle. Exercise increases insulin receptor sensitivity, and on diet, you got to avoid the really high carbohydrate, high simple sugar diets. Candy, cookies, donuts, things like that. Okay. Alrighty, so I'm going to throw you a second link from the Davis School that highlighted, since we're on cancer, my wife's story. And if you scroll down, if you look down, there's a little hypertext in that link that says press here, and it takes you to a speech delivered by President Barack Obama. And I know that we're all on different sides of the fence in terms of politics and the Affordable Care Act, but my wife wrote a letter to President Obama on the website, and about 2 weeks later, we get a phone call from the head press secretary saying President Obama loved how articulate you were and elegant and passionate in your letter, and he wants to use it in his next speech. And it'll take you to this, so this hypertext takes you to the speech that President Obama gave in, I think it was about November of last year. And about 4 minutes into the speech, he says, I want to read to you a letter I received from Julia Walsh in California. Pretty amazing stuff. It shows you that political activism, they do read these things. So, okay, thank you guys for being so active, and we'll see you next time.